his name into her leg.
What should I cut?
What?
What should I cut into me?
My name.
Oh, shocked when people are like, oh, well, you know, you're not fucking this and you're not actually taking accountability. I'm so sorry. Oh, it's muted. I was wondering why you're so quiet.
I didn't do that.
Because I'm not going to accept every single fucking thing you guys say about the situation, that must mean that I actually stand by my actions and I'm defending them. I don't think I've once said that I don't regret that decision, that I don't, and that I think it's fucking justifiable, and as if there was nothing fucking wrong with it. I think I've been putting a significant amount of emphasis on that, and so I mean, it is really funny that I just got fucking server muted and I had to sit here and listen to all these fucking all these terrible fucking points you're trying to make. But let's go ahead and start from the top.
Bro, it was perfectly fine earlier. What the fuck happened?
He didn't. Basically, for anyone who didn't know, I'll give a quick TLDR. He made a girl cut his name into her leg, made it as her banner, and got off on it.
This fucking prostitute mugshot, this image of fucking Chris Chan on Weight Watchers is absolutely real, and you've seen it in my videos and probably thought it was a meme. Today, we dive into the lore of it. This beached whale with a face not even her own mother could love goes by the name of Hopeless Peaches, and if you've been here for a while, this name sounds oddly familiar. Peaches here is a relatively well-known art commentator who I've had a bone to pick with for quite some time now. Like many dumb cunts we cover on this channel, Peaches happens to be a very silly and whimsical individual. So silly and whimsical, in fact, that as a grown-ass woman via the internet in a different country, was adopted by the old man, the one, the only, Lio Khan. Something that I find really silly about this, though, is that Peaches oftentimes, when dogging on people in, I guess, quote-unquote, blood sport debate servers, feels the need to rag on other people's relationships with their parents. So in today's video, because I'm just the pettiest bitch alive, and I'm just so obsessed with the past, and I can't get over a little criticism, I guess. Because Peaches failed to call me racist, transphobic, ableist, every ism in the book, she decided to bring up the self-harm drama over and over and over in what's supposed to be a blood sports server. And then wanted to act a little surprised, you know, oh my goodness, I didn't see this coming, when I told her to fucking
Really want to put my logo on that one?
in this blood sports server, mind you, when I believe it to be really justified that I told her to do so because she was simply bringing up this incident out of pettiness. Everyone in the server had already dogged on me prior 3 times. Each time took hours to get through, and they did it extensively. No stone was left unturned, but not Hopeless Peaches. She hadn't had her fill yet. And today, guys, because I'm just him, I'm that guy, and I must always have the last word, today we're gonna hit Hopeless Peaches right in the daddy issues.
You could get pregnant through a blowjob.
So one of the things that irks me the most about Peaches is that she couldn't just remove me from this community, this little jurisdiction she thinks she fucking rules over. Of course, without trying to make me sound like the spawn of Satan. And so that would involve a little bit of blackballing and lying, because, you know, we're just silly and whimsical around here, and we do a little misinformation spreading.
He didn't. Basically, for anyone who didn't know, I'll give a quick TLDR.
Anyone who didn't know on this channel, we're actually not too fond of people who start TLDRs with the word basically. I think I've explained it to you in a previous video that anyone who starts off a paraphrase with the word basically is ready to give you more cap than a fucking Yankees hat.
He made a girl cut his name into her leg.
What should I cut?
What?
What should I cut into me?
My name.
Dear Christ, Peaches, you might be onto something. Did you see how I, held her at fucking gunpoint and told her I was gonna kill her parents if she didn't fucking do it? Man. Well, I mean, at least that's what I imagine when you say I made someone do fucking anything. And what I really appreciate about the truth finally being revealed, Peaches, is that at face value, instead of the narrative you've pushed, it looks like she just asked me, and then I gave her a suggestion.
Made it as her banner and got off on it.
So you're suggesting that I quote-unquote got off on it, which is, honestly, I can't tell if that's a vague term on purpose, because that could mean a number of things. But to give you the benefit of the doubt, I'm just going to assume you're referring to something that a literal admitted child distributor was accusing me of. And the silliest thing about that, Peaches, is you didn't even know exactly what was being referred to. You just had your own silly headcanon built off of a few words.
Oh. Yeah, that one should be the right one. Just I named them the same thing.
Sick. All right. All right. Here's a clip.
I could have addressed him personally. Dude, he wouldn't fucking talk to anyone. His DMs are closed.
Wait,
Guys, I personally don't think Kumo cares about minor death, but he's not him laughing while him saying he would laugh.
I mean, I care about minors not fucking not getting groomed. I don't think it's really controllable whether a minor's gonna hurt themselves or not.
Yeah, you'd laugh at it too, so it really wouldn't matter.
Yeah, I would laugh at it. I would laugh at someone cutting.
Anyone
cutting themselves.
It's the fuck off the screen. It's a joke, obviously. Who cares?
I don't know what the point of that clip.
That was him going, "Oh yeah, I love that. I don't care. Yeah, I'll let a girl cut her." Like, dude,
I'd laugh at
that's
it.
a joke clip.
I mean, Brion.
Not only that, Brion, that happened. That happened a month before I even met fucking Asta. What kind of
I gotta be real with you, dude. Like, you go into people's, like, you said, like, the CP distributor thing was like a joke or whatever, and you're saying the same. Like, I mean, even if it wasn't a joke, like, does it really matter? Like, I don't really care. I mean,
so child porn is okay, but cutting is not.
So this is generally how it was fucking perceived. This one particular thing Brion was trying to bring up against me. We get the added bonus of Peaches making an ass out of herself because we all have to acknowledge that she didn't even know what this clip was about. She didn't even watch it. A lot of the time throughout this entire controversy, Peaches would throw shit in the water, and she would fling shit at the wall and hope something sticks. And she would cling to and pray to her fucking obvious confirmation bias and hope to God it doesn't fail her. So Hopeless Peaches would continue to make the descriptive statement that I quote-unquote got off on it, which has many vague implications going for it, and would seemingly, with these words, influence numerous people's takes on the matter. For either two reasons. One, she's obviously just a disingenuous, slimy, conniving, fat fucking cunt like I've been saying this entire time, where she's genuinely dumb as rocks.
And then went around saying that she wanted it as the banner. And I know that it's a he said, she said situation.
Oh, okay, so what you're doing here is you're just lying out of your fucking ass, because what you're saying has no factual fucking premise and is, like you just said, based off of he said, she said. So there's no real way you can validate one side or the other and back your claims. I'm really intrigued. Please continue.
But considering he lied about the fact that she even said that.
Okay, so because I conceded to a point because Asta herself wouldn't actually admit to her wrongdoings or anything on her side of the story. So because Asta is such a fucking angel and she's known for her track record of being the most honest and genuine person, never tell a lie in her life, she's obviously the more credible source because she won't admit to something that I'm alleging. So because she not only gives a false and inconsistent testimony with the events that I can prove even fucking happened, that must make me a liar and nothing I say can even be trusted, so therefore you have to go with everything Asta says. Wonder how well that worked out.
I'm inclined to believe that everything that she said was actually correct.
Right, because that would conveniently be easy for you to twist into making me sound like a terrible person. I love that. Appreciating the transparency here.
He's a scumbag.
Oh, wow, Peaches hitting me right where it fucking hurts.
And should have been dealt with before, but now he's gone now. He can go fuck himself.
Wow, girl boss, am I right? And I guess you also felt the need to, at everyone, ping the server and also give another retelling of this story that you just gave us here. Totally just as accurate and totally... yeah, kill yourself.
Really want to put my logo on that?
Next thing I really wanted to touch on really quickly before we get to the next segment here is that anytime anyone sees this clip that got published, they immediately have the same thing to say. Wow, that doesn't look too good. Man, that looks really fucking awful. I wonder if this context will make it any better. No shit, the context will make it actually, let me feed into it. If you think that's bad, wait until they find what I have underneath the floorboards. Another thing that people like to say that I do, apparently, is that I make random e-girls, plural, carve my name into their legs. And I actually want to correct a few things about this. First of all, I don't just make random e-girls do it, okay? I see any woman with a pulse as just a walking flesh billboard. I'd really appreciate it if you got your facts straight. Secondly, there are not just random e-girls, plural. I'd actually prefer if you got specific, because I'm quite proud of this number I've achieved. There are actually just under 50 victims, okay? 50 victims. In fact, after we get done with most of them, I have rigorous, violent sex with them, obviously consensually, to which I proceed to ejaculate on the fresh wound. Sometimes when I'm feeling silly and different today, I'll actually just have them tattoo it instead of like cutting it into themselves. And I actually gaslight them into meeting up in real life with me before I do it. So this isn't all just over the internet. If anything, I go and I do it in person, and sometimes they get lucky and I'll actually carve it. I'll carve it for them myself. You know, and I really like to I like to think of it as leaving my mark on the world. You know, everyone has their thing. I like to think we're all pro-sex nowadays, so kink shaming is pretty lame, but I mean, I guess I can understand, because kink shaming is also my kink. So guys, I hope that really cleared up a few misconceptions you guys had. I really don't like when you undersell what I do, because I do this shit for a living. Like, I actually make money from this. Actually, one person pointed out, I actually extort these girls for their life savings. And if they don't have life savings, I make them go into a trust fund or steal money from their dying family members. Yeah, you guys let me know if there's anything else that's fucking terrible that you think I did, that you want me to, like, address. You know, it's my personal motto that you don't apologize to anyone on the fucking internet, especially you fucking because nothing of which I've been moral flagged for even directly affects you, not even indirectly affects you, so I honestly think you're just being a little bitch. No, I recognize that an apology to you is just an admittance of wrongdoing, and that would justify you throwing stones. You know, you wouldn't feel as bad about conflating someone else's mental illness and interpersonal relationships into fucking YouTube drama. I mean, imagine if you, like, actually, like, told your friends what it is you were even mad at me about. That, oh, there's this mentally ill guy who was, like, with this mentally ill girl, and they did mentally ill shit, and now I'm, like, moral flagging and grandstanding them on fucking YouTube.com and Twitter. 'Cause you're such a saint. Oh my god, you're such a warrior of justice. We need more people out here just like you fighting the good fight. So, all jokes aside, you need to fuck off. It's literally none of your fucking business. It has nothing to do with my YouTube channel. You know what it had to do with my YouTube channel? Some goofball that thinks he's cool for doxing retards on the internet decided to threaten this information out of me because I thought, you know, I was actually scared of him for some reason for a little bit. I thought he was gonna, like, post my info online. The guy would make a fucking Twitter thread about me and tag my fucking suspended Twitter account. Sorry, no, this account wasn't suspended. This one specifically I got locked out of. I don't really care to get into the details. Long story short, I just lost the password. But anyway, he, like, decided to @ me and make it about my YouTube channel. Kind of insane when you think about it, because it literally doesn't affect my content, and it doesn't affect how I interact with my fans or any collaboratives. But I guess the point I've really been trying to make here is that you should fuck off and that this isn't any of your fucking business. You look so weird. You look so weird prying into another man's private life. You are so fucking unhinged.
You could get pregnant through a blowjob.
The next order of business is we're going to discuss one of my personal favorite traits about Peaches of all time. You see, Peaches likes to play Discord admin in a quote-unquote barbarian server, which is honestly just autism for blood sports.
Don't you feel silly?
So in just about any badgering session you can watch Peaches engage in, she somehow manages to make everything about herself, make herself a victim, but at the same time try her absolute hardest, come across as a passive-aggressive, nonchalant bad bitch. Slay queen, we see you out here. Go off. Fucking kill yourself.
Really want to put my logo on that?
Peaches is truly the most interesting, fascinating individual I've ever met on the internet. She often waffles on about alcoholism, and sometimes I speculate if that's just her way of coping about being born with fetal alcohol syndrome, because that's like the only, like, believable, logical, scientific explanation for you coming out looking like this. Well, I guess another idea could be like, maybe you had facial reconstruction surgery done by a bunch of fucking raccoons.
What the fuck was that?
I think I'll start off by giving you a first-hand look at what I'm talking about.
The thing that went down, Nil, which you seem to not remember, after it was out that I tried to off myself again, you're in my DMs talking to me. I'm spiraling out, but you're like talking to me, being friendly, and then I find out that you were logging everything from me by, like, other people, so I stopped talking to you.
That was by Ray Rants, and I logged everything by everybody at that time. I still do.
Yeah, but then you got upset because I didn't want to talk to someone logging, like, stuff like that, especially when I was spiraling out a lot.
So here we get an excellent look into the intellect of Hopeless Peaches, just a peek inside her mind. It's honestly astonishing she has any sort of coherent thought going on in there. I think I'm being generous by calling that coherent thought. But essentially what she's trying to pin against Nil in this silly little badgering session, because, you know, I guess the Senate can't help but badger all kinds of mentally ill people. They can't stop at pedophiles and lolicons. They have to go to the schizophrenics. Honestly, I respect that they value equality at this point. But the point that Peaches has wedged against Nil in this call is that apparently Nil doesn't care about mental health. What you just heard was the basis of her point, the logic in which she used to reach this conclusion. Word for word, the point Hopeless Peaches was making here is that Nil couldn't possibly give a fuck about people who are suicidal, couldn't possibly care about mental health, and that they're a lying bullshitter. Reason being, because they were logging their conversations with Peaches. What's intriguing about this is that Call Me Nil is actually known for being a manic paranoid schizophrenic who logs all of their conversations with literally anyone they come into contact with. And isn't it just so silly that Hopeless Peaches has to make it completely about herself by mentioning that her mental health was in the shitter and she wanted to kill herself? You know, honestly, I'm a little bummed you didn't try any harder. Now, I normally wouldn't invalidate someone talking about their mental health if they weren't badgering Call Me Nil for screwing the pooch on a fucking groomer case. But I guess Peaches woke up and decided, whoop-de-doo, silly me, I'm just gonna insert fucking sob stories about myself into something that has fuck all to do with me. We'll come back to this clip later on a different note, but there's actually another occurrence of Peaches doing this publicly. The next one happened when Septi paused, and I understand how silly this is, and Septi was practically asking for backlash, but Septi Paws went on Twitter to beg Lyle Convoy for help yet again after everything that happened. Septi would proceed to get bullied and then post a silly little suicide note, to which Peaches would call them out for suicide baiting. Now, whenever Peaches has to explain this to outside parties, or even has to address it directly, she actually tells it in reverse order, which is kind of silly. Keep in mind, this tweet that Septi made initially was geared towards Lio Convoy only. What follows next is Peaches takes it upon herself to reply, and if you have any grasp of pattern recognition, I think it should go without saying, she immediately made it about her fucking self. Way to go. Way to keep it predictable. The next thing we can predict is the art commentator who's chronically fucking addicted to Twitter and, you know, makes a habit of ratioing irrelevant furry small commentators, would coincidentally, and because she's just so silly, have nothing to do with any of this. A bunch of people would end up sending Septi death threats and wishing death upon Septi, according to both of them. Peaches somehow thinks she has plausible deniability after ratioing Septi and accusing him of making rape art of her. Honestly, untrue. You would have had a better time if you just said that they were horny posting cub porn on Maine. But put yourself in the shoes of Hopeless Peaches and you gotta stay in character. You gotta stay true to the character you're playing. That wouldn't make you a proper victim. Are you kidding me? First I have to claim something was done to me, and then I have to include the word rape. That's not good enough if it doesn't include those two things at the least. When Septi would make a silly little suicide note on Twitter and tag Peaches in it after this happened, Peaches would say, fuck off, I had nothing to do with this. Do you have dementia, or are you just, like, really bad at lying? Because this is, like, blatant. No, sorry, let me correct myself. Chronic alcoholism, fetal alcohol syndrome, just being retarded. Naturally.
After it was out that I tried to off myself again, you're in my DMs talking to me. I'm spiraling out, but you're like talking to me, being friendly.
But we all know why this has become a trend, and that's because
your mental health only counts if I like you. I've seen too many instances where someone knows of a user's mental health struggles, purposely starts a witch hunt against them based off misinformation, and then screams about their own mental health when criticized for their own poor actions.
Sorry, I was having a moment there.
Who told this bitch she was funny? The next thing I really wanted to talk about in this video, and honestly this has been one of the main things I wanted to talk about for a long time when it comes to Peaches, is that she is the most spineless cunt I've ever had the pleasure of dealing with. The way I like to describe it is Hopeless Peaches has no fucking backbone. She feigns confidence and borrows the backbone from overly confident furries and autists in a fucking Bloodsport server. And now let me cook. I don't even need to try this hard just to start convincing you, alright? Just think about this. this. If you look up anything to do with Hopeless Peach's past, she was always the victim. Even now, when she feigns confidence and tries to be this overly passive-aggressive, condescending bitch, she still lets her true colors shine through because she always has to make everything about herself, and in doing so, she has to be the victim. So with this in mind, it should go without saying that she probably has next to no fucking integrity whatsoever, to the point where I guess she's even starting to rub off on this guy who adopted her over the internet, practically living on different sides of the planet. Grown fucking adults doing this. I'm not making this shit up. He refers to him as dad, and he refers to her as one of his kids. Did I ever mention that these people are fucking grown and have been grown? This happened while she was a fucking adult. What the fuck? So with that in mind, it should go without saying you've probably seen many instances recently where Hopeless Peaches has the nerve to dog on anyone for being socially inept, for having a shitty home life, for having no parents, for having absent parents, just about anything, like fatherless behavior, like that kind of energy. She's already said it. Talk about the pot calling the kettle black. Something else that I can personally attest to is Hopeless Peaches seems to care so much about mental health and mental illness and people who are struggling with mental illness. Yet that goes out the window the moment she needs to start shitting on me. Like, despite the fact that I make it known that I'm mentally fucking ill, she still feels comfortable badgering me over the very thing I've expressed drove me to mental illness. Characterizing me as a psychotic scumbag with an inflated ego, and anytime anyone dare see any nuance or, you know, think for themselves on this matter, they're just jerking my ego off. They're just, okay, Peaches, well, how about people stop fingering your fucking sad pussy all the time? You're actually beyond fucking pathetic. You live on the internet. Why is your dad on the internet? You not that your dad is using the internet. You have a dad, but he lives on the internet with you. You don't even have a life. You are so fucking unnecessarily pretentious. You are fucking worthless. The next thing that applies to Peaches also applies to the Senate, and that's that in this call where they were dogging on Call Me Nil like I showed you earlier, it is made apparent that someone else got to tag along by the name of Prince Emmy. I guess they keep rebranding because they're afraid of everyone remembering that name, for good reason. It is made very apparent that Emmy is actually a regular member of the Senate's Internet Vigilantes Club. I probably need to tell you why this is a red flag. Emmy is more fucking manic and insane than Call Me Nil even is. That's not an easy feat to accomplish. The next glaring red flag is she's a prior victim to the groomer their case is on and that she's covering. Call Me Nil in this call is chewed out for all the infighting going on in his original vigilante group on Discord. Emmy is smiling in this call knowing full and well she was one of the common denominators of all this infighting they're even talking about. Emmy has a habit of being frantic and overly dramatic about anything she's telling you about, making it extremely difficult to trust anything she says because you'll never know if you're actually getting the truth. And you have the gall to bring her in to badger fucking Call Me Nil. Say what you want about Call Me Nil, I think he's fucking insane. I don't like the guy anymore. But Call Me Nil, in terms of like this getting information on like predators and shit, is an amazing resource. Yes, Nil is very unpredictable, but I wouldn't say Nil is entirely unreliable. I can say that I've seen Nil do significantly more good than I've ever seen anyone in the Senate do. My last major red flag I want to point out about this individual before I move back to Peaches is that she has literally screwed this case and saved literal CP as evidence before and shared it around as evidence. She is so fucking manic and frantic and fucking unpredictable that she has scared multiple other victims into hiding and not wanting to talk. Not to mention, she has literally forged evidence on someone that didn't need evidence forged against them because there was already a mountain of it. The next thing that's, honestly, this is against both Peaches, Lio, and honestly the entire fucking Senate, is that Nil has always been very open about their mental health. These motherfuckers knew that Nil was a loose cannon, and they want to flip their shit when they're just finally suddenly tired of it. No, you knew this was going to happen, you just kept using Nil. You're actually fucking awful. You are so pretentious. I don't know how you have the nerve to grandstand anyone. And all this talk about caring about mental health, and Hopeless Peaches is sitting here trying to fucking Lord Palpatine herself into Lio's ear saying, Lio, you're going too easy on Kumo. Fuck that little psychopath. You need to hit him right in the schizophrenia and grandstand him for doing something fucking terrible one time and blow it out of proportion the way I do because I already have pre-existing animosity with him. The crazy thing is, this is all undeniable. This segment right here is completely undeniable. You can literally verify this just by asking these people. They will not be able to tell you no without lying. And there are at least 20 people that know them, that are like mutual with them, that will literally vouch for this. I could not make this shit up. I'm not gonna sit here and turn the other cheek to a bunch of lying, fucking dishonest, fucking pretentious, furry Discord vigilantes, fucking Discord detectives. I'm not gonna sit here and turn the cheek to you. So honestly, this is what I have to say about Hopeless Peaches. You fucking suck. You are a pretentious, fat, overly confident cunt. I'd say saying you have any confidence might be incorrect, because you're obviously feigning it, because you sit here and you sympathy bait with your past traumas and your tragic history whenever you get in any sort of argument. You make everything about yourself, even when you have zero fucking relevance to it. Kill yourself.
We were never friends, cunt.
I mean, keep slaying, girl boss. We stand Hopeless Peaches till we die.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
How are you doing? How do you know what's going on now? We need to have a conversation about the call that you had the other day. No, I don't know why you're like... You told in gratuitous detail one of the bot staff to go kill themselves. So we need to have a talk about that and how fucking reprehensible that was. Okay, so I see you really fucking care. Do you have anything to say for yourself? Or is this just gonna be like, how do you change your answer?
I think you're the one who has something to say, so I mean, rather than monologuing, could you go ahead and get what you have rehearsed out, you know? I think that would save us all a little bit.
I don't have anything rehearsed. I asked you a question. Answer my fucking question.
What that means is if I find out anybody in this room is connected to some sick little weirdo, they are gone.